the level of unfairness for a perfect conversation with the president of Ukraine. This was a perfect conversation.
July 25th, 2019 was an infamous day in the history of President Trump's first term in office. He had a phone call with the new Ukrainian president, Volodymyr Zelensky. We later got the transcript of that call in which we found out that President Trump essentially pressured the new president and tried to get him to start an investigation into Joe Biden and his son. He also at the same time was holding back taxpayer aid that was meant to go to Ukraine. And it was the idea that Ukraine would have to start this investigation in order to get this money that they needed to defend themselves. And President Trump eventually got impeached over this. He goes down in history as only one of a very small number of presidents who have been impeached. Now, he was acquitted by the Senate. He was not removed from office. But I think future presidents will realize that Congress is willing to push forward an impeachment. In this case, it was willing to push forward an impeachment that was largely along partisan lines. But I do think other presidents will be much more careful about anything that has to do with linking an election to an investigation by a foreign government.
Did nothing wrong, but this is what the end result is.
The president celebrated his acquittal in the Senate. He was very happy that he had almost unanimous support from all Republicans in the Senate in voting against impeachment. There were some Republicans who said, yes, we believe the president did all of these things that Democrats were accusing him of, but we don't think it's worthy of impeachment. We are going to continue to stand by him. And that kind of party unity is something that he has used to move forward with other controversial pushes.
My simple act of appearing here today would not be tolerated in many places around the world.
He has been on a rampage in terms of getting rid of officials in the administration who testified against him during the impeachment hearings.
Trump's doing this because he knows I'll beat him like a drum.
Joe Biden has used this on the campaign trail by saying that the president was so afraid of him, so afraid of his candidacy, he was willing to get himself impeached to try to stop Joe Biden.
He will forever and fundamentally alter the character of this nation.
I would expect him to use the impeachment to remind Americans, even as we're in the middle of a pandemic. His argument is that President Trump does not care about the American people. Instead, he cares about himself, and he's willing to essentially mortgage the American people for his own benefit.
What lesson did you learn from impeachment?
That the Democrats are crooked. They've got a lot of crooked things going. I'm the only one that got impeached in history, hopefully will be the only one that got impeached over a perfect telephone call, like perfect.
President Trump will use it as well. He will say that he has been a victim of the deep state, a victim of the swamp. But at the end of the day, the history books will record that this fateful phone call led to an impeachment of an American president.